Hello, everyone. Hilary Marshall here with RE/MAX Professionals of Newport, based in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island, covering the Ocean State. We are here today for Coastal Conversations. And I'm here with the wonderful Heidi Howard, and she is with Swipe for a Cause. Do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, thanks. Swipe for a Cause is the credit card processing that donates to hospice, and I'm really excited to be here. I've only been in this business maybe a few months now. I transitioned from a lifelong career in interior design and construction, and it was time to do something new.
Wonderful. So Heidi and I have kind of a background together in a way because we have this love for interior design, and then it kind of comes full circle because not only does RE/MAX give back to Children's Miracle Network, but tell us a little bit about what Swipe for a Cause does, because I think there's a good harmony between us giving back as well with both of our businesses.
Yes. So our business was literally developed to give back to hospice. The owners of the company, they're now married, but Andy started the company after his first wife passed away after some 20 years. And he had a wonderful experience with hospice. His new wife, Margaret, also had a wonderful experience with hospice, and they were trying to find a way to raise money. They had always been in for-profit and very successfully for-profit businesses, so a nonprofit model didn't make sense to them. And he had owned hotels and golf courses, and so with that had a lot of experience with credit card processing and decided to open up a small Rhode Island business backed by some of the largest national businesses in the market, and they donate 5% of their bottom line to hospice each year.
Love it. I love the message that comes of it because we're very similar with Children's Miracle Network. So I love that there's more to it. So it's based in Rhode Island is what you're saying.
Yes, Wickford.
Oh, perfect. Even better. Love that. So what are some amazing, do you have any stories that now that you're kind of transitioning into this new company, what are some stories that you're getting out of it? Anything, small moments of success, anything that you're learning that is like you want to share? Because I feel like I know you're kind of getting under your wing with what you're doing, and it's definitely different from being in a construction and interior design world and kind of picking your feet up. But you know, I bet there's some fun conversations that you're having too.
There are, and I think the thing that I love most about this position is that it's giving me the opportunity to hit the streets all over Rhode Island. I'm getting to know it better than I ever have. And Discover Beautiful Rhode Island really is an appropriate tagline for our lovely state. As I go through, it is remarkable how many of our existing clients have had positive experiences with hospice and how it really reaches out to prospective new clients. So many people have lost someone near and dear to them, or what a lot of people don't know is that hospice sometimes is there to care for people and get them well. We often think of it as a place for people to pass away in a gentle, kind, and caring fashion, but they also deal with some terminally ill people who then make a recovery, who can go back into independent living for a while. And whatever the story is, there are lots of stories out there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. So are there any, have you been onboarding some clients lately? Is there anything that you want to share when it comes to, good successes when it comes to onboarding new clients or re-nurturing old clients? Because I know you kind of have a little bit of a base of a book of business too.
Mm-hmm. The newest clients that I'm getting are really all over the map. We've got one out of Massachusetts, the commercial fishing industry.
Very cool.
They're super excited about it. And then we've got a furniture installation company that's here as well. So there's no specific industry.
I love that.
That's too big or too small. Okay. The goal is to save everyone the maximum amount of money and to make this business into a service business. If you're going to experience any problems, which everyone always does with credit card processing, it's part of the nature of the business, just like construction. Yeah. You call us. You have our cell phone number, so we are able to come in and help you quickly solve whatever problem you're having. If your terminal goes down, it's probably because the internet's down and you need to reboot your connection. I'm just saying. But more often than
Get on a service call and reboot.
But there are times where someone has a major outage, and one of our service team, Billy, will go out with a new piece of equipment and get them back up and running. Like he did that for Flo's Clam Shack a couple of weeks ago, which was huge. You know, that their business never slows down for anything. When you're experiencing a problem, instead of sitting on an 800 number for hours and hours and trying to get service from somewhere else where there may also be a language barrier, you're calling us. Then we're calling that 800 number, dealing with it and calling you back when the problem is solved so that you can get back to your business. That's the most important thing for a small business, is to be involved in their business and not working on some issue that shouldn't be theirs.
100%. I love that. I love that it's like you're calling Heidi, you're calling your contact. I think no matter what your business is, I think the thing that the consumer, no matter what industry you are, people don't love the 1-800 number. You know, like I see that 1-800, and then I think the way of the world nowadays is less of a 1-800 number. I think the ones that go down that path are not as successful anymore because people are craving the human connection. And having someone, I know that I've got certain contacts, like my fence guy and certain people that I know are my people and are able to pick up the phone, text me at 9:00 at night and be like, hey, I'll be there in the morning, or whatever it might be. Certain things that you actually give that type of service.
Yes. And honestly, we are craving that, because how often have I called my own credit card company in order for us to direct you to the proper customer service agent? Tell me a little bit more about your problem. And I have 16 times, and you're not routing me to the
I
right
immediately
person.
push 0. I'm like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Let me talk to a person.
I just need human connection. And it's crazy, and not to transition too much, but too quick. But, you know, even in real estate, we are being shaken down in the real estate industry. Everything that happened August 17th and what's going on in the world here nowadays. At the same time, people have like some rumors about how real estate agents are going to fade out. People want that human connection. There's a reason that, a brokerage like Zillow has not taken over so quick, right? Because people still want, who's the local person? Can you tell me the ins and outs? Can you tell me the local rules and regulations and laws and things like that? Or who can you be the source to connect to me to the roofer, the plumber, the electrician, whatever that looks like, because they want still a one-on-one interaction, and you're paying for that one-on-one interaction more than the 1-800, So it's kind of crazy. No matter what our industries are, we are seeing that not only we want that human interaction, but we want that person on the line, like we want to text them, and I get those texts at 7 a.m. and 9 p.m, yes. It happens.
Yes. And in real estate, you do have to create some boundaries. They can text you at 9 o'clock at night. If it's not critical, it's not up to you to respond right then.
Yes.
But I do, anybody who's trying to do real estate without an agent is really shooting themselves in the foot unless they've done it a whole bunch of times, because all of the laws and contractual obligations and timing and things of that nature, it's a very complex industry, and it's not something to be taken lightly, and you can really get yourself in trouble as a buyer or as a seller if you're not using a qualified agent to help you. And I stress qualified because sometimes this market can be a little oversaturated, much like the construction market can be a little oversaturated by people who, may have some of the tools, but not necessarily the experience to make it a smooth process for a good long-term outcome.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just went through a transaction, and the other agent, and you say qualified, the other agent missed the home inspection deadline. I was very open and honest about it with my seller, and I said, hey, it's nothing to us. I said, it actually benefits us for them passing this and, deadline. But understanding where the deadlines are, what that means for the seller, prepping them ahead of time to say what could or could not happen is, even though it had nothing to do with us or our side, I said, it's on them. Right. But at the same time, what does this mean, right? How can I protect you moving forward? How can I guide you and advise you as we move on through the contract together. So there are things that having the right person in your corner to say, here's what it means. I'm going to make sure we get defended and, protect you on any type of way, shape, or form. And what this means, what could or could not happen, is huge, because you want someone who's been through these ups and downs in the industry and not just, okay, I've never been through this, I don't know what to do.
Alleviating anxiety.
Yeah.
This high technology and digital age creates a tremendous amount of anxiety, and the amount of information we have to process and the amount of things that we have each to do on a daily basis, to have someone to be able to say, okay, A, B, and C, and here's why you don't need to worry about X, Y, and Z, because we have the rest of the letters covered, and here's why. And if you have any specific questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to walk you through it.
I do my buyer consults usually like that, because I'm like, you're not going to remember anything I say. Just please take away that you can always call me. Like, please take anything. If you get one little tidbit out of it, then great. But if you get like anything, call me, like call, text, email, carry pigeon. Like, I'm here for that reason. And I always say that because in a way, it's nice to know that you've got a human on the other side. And I think that's, people don't realize, or they tend to forget, everything's okay, quick text. Yes, that's fine. But you also have you have a human on the other side of every transaction. The agent who missed that transaction and that deadline, pick up the phone, call me. I'm a human on the other side.
Right.
Like there is someone who can sympathize or can say, all right, well, you know what? You missed it by this. Let's try and work this out. The goal is to get the house sold.
Right. Let's renegotiate.
Let's renegotiate. Let's kind of like open this up. There's a person on the other side here. Mm-hmm. So either way, I think it's kind of interesting what both of us do. There's a massive parallel.
There is, because it's all customer service oriented, and you're looking for an expert to hold your hand and take you through the process.
And yeah, we are not that 1-800 number though.
Right. We do actually have a 1-800 number, which is interesting, because if I am busy with a client or cannot pick up my phone for some reason, and you do call our 800 number, it sends out an automatic email to our entire team here in Rhode Island, and the goal or the objective is to get you a call back within 15 minutes from a live person working here in Rhode Island who's going to work to solve your issue.
So if it's not you, it's someone else on your team. So It's almost like someone calling our office and saying, hey, Hilary's not available, but I just need this answered, right?
Right. Here, I can look that up on your file right now. Sure, let me get that for you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. And especially because you guys are saying, all right, we're going to get you a call in 15 minutes. Is that kind of a border of, as we say, 9 p.m.? Where's the cutoff there? Because I get those 9 p.m. I have my DND on at a certain point. I think 9 o'clock is when I'm supposed to. I force myself into bedtime.
Well, fortunately, a lot of our customers are brick and mortar stores, and and some of them are restaurants, which would have them open much later. But brick and mortar tends to have that. We're shutting down at 6 o'clock or whatever the case may be. So, but we do often have people who reach out on weekends. And while that is not required of our team by the owners to answer calls on weekends, we do. Don't tell anybody that, but we actually do have people who work on.
No promises, but you over deliver, which I love.
Yes.
You're not over promising and under delivering. You're not promising and over delivering, which is what I strive to do just the same. So I love that.
It's one of the reasons you're one of my favorite people.
Likewise. So is there anything else you want to tell our listeners about, like, coastal conversations wise, that you want to educate the general public on, like, what you do and what you're looking for in, the next customer?
That is an interesting question, because really, if you take credit cards, we hope to have a solution for you. What we are is an ISO. It's called an Independent Service Organization. And we work between the payment service providers who work directly with the bank. They tend to be the back end. You can work directly with them. But when you're working with an ISO, you get more flexibility. So we have more kinds of equipment. We work with multiple service providers. And so what we do is we really look to work with each business and not sign a contract, force you into certain, equipment or any of that. It's what is your business model? What do you need? How can we formulate the best possible solution for you at the best possible price while being transparent and, oh, by the way, donating to hospice at the end of the day. That's really the goal.
Pick your own adventure.
Pick your own adventure. And every business is unique.
Yeah.
Some people take online payments. Some people take payments over the phone. Some people only do it in person. Some people go to trade shows and they need a mobile device.
Oh, very true.
Some people don't. Some people need a hardwired thing. We're working with one of our clients right now. They can't get new equipment because they signed an original contract with the big bank who does the processing. And unless they re-up their contract, they won't give them new equipment. Their equipment is old and it needs new servicing. So now,
almost like when I had back in the day, and I want to say this was at least 10 plus years ago, is like Cox Communication, or like, you'd have the DVR, and until you up it, they're not giving you new equipment. Like you're renting that equipment and you're just like, this doesn't do this doesn't do that. It doesn't record. Back in the day when you would record TV.
Right. To fast forward over the commercials. You've got a little older than you thought you had. I know you still feel really young, don't you? Wait till you're my age. I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, because one of the other fundamental differences that is part of our organization is that we give you the equipment, unless it's some super complicated POS system, and then we're going to sell that equipment to you at a very reasonable fee. There are other competitors of ours that have similar business models, but they are leasing you that equipment just like those cable companies used to. And, finally we all got wise and said, well, I could lease your modem for $50 a month, or I could go down to Staples and buy myself one for $80 and have it last me the next 4 years. So some of our competitors are doing the same thing. Yes, it's zero processing fees. It's this. But they're leasing the equipment for 5 years. Well, the equipment in some cases can be paid for in the first 3 months.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do our best to give you free equipment, because we know that your processing with us is going to pay for that equipment over a certain period of time. Yeah. And sometimes with those big systems, depending on who that customer is and what kind of volume of business they're doing, we can bend the rules, So that's the great part about working with a small company, right? We have the flexibility that a lot of larger companies don't offer.
I love that. And that's where, as you're going through this, seeing what equipment people have and really digesting the whole business, you're getting a personal touch. You're getting a donation back to hospice. You're doing good every single swipe, which I love. Yes. And you're having that one-on-one connection, but then realizing there's someone on the other side that is human, and it's someone who really cares at the end of the day. So they want you to succeed because you're in our backyard, but you want them to succeed because they're in your backyard.
Absolutely. In fact, when we onboard a new client, we always say, welcome to the Swipe family. And just one of our owners the other day said, it's a little bit of a challenge because we want to support all of our merchants. So when we need to buy something, we'll go to our merchant. Yeah. And if it doesn't quite fit the bill, you don't really want to return the item because you don't want to do that to your merchant.
I hear you.
So it really is about supporting people, or we network within our merchants. You need something? We do a lot of work with this company over here. Let me connect the two of you.
So what kind of companies do you have? You kind of touched on, you've got like a fishing business. You've got kind of like, what are your ideal clients? What kind of umbrella do you usually go for?
I'm not sure we have an ideal client. We work with the museums here in town. We have art galleries. We have high-end clothing stores. We have pizza stores, we have chocolatiers, we have dry cleaners, we have automotive shops.
So this goes
mechanics.
for all of, do you cover all of Rhode Island and Mass?
All of Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We will cover other states as well. We just can't guarantee that, we're going to fly down. I'm not flying down to Georgia to walk in and take care of your, your issue that day.
You sure?
But if you want to process with us, we can certainly service all of the other states. But yes, it's however close you are to us gives you the best possible service. And we do service every single industry. The only thing that prohibits anything is whether or not the technology on an end of, say, someone's inventory system, or a lot of hairdressers wind up with a competitor of ours because there's a scheduling app that the hairdresser and massage industry tends to use. It's one of the better apps for them, where their clients can go online and they can schedule their own appointments. So there are certain things that will prohibit us from being able to work with someone, but that's really only the technology. Yeah. And if we can find a way around it, we will.
Yeah. And that is the flexibility that you have, especially as a small business, for sure. And then as much as there's an umbrella throughout Rhode Island that you have, and then goes into Mass, and you can obviously service, I feel the same about RE/MAX, because at the end of the day, it's ma and pa. It's like boots on the ground here. I have an umbrella that protects me, and that allows me to do whatever I want in a certain capacity, but they support me. That's what I absolutely love, is that you've got that support, but you have the flexibility. And I feel the same way. That's why I've stayed with RE/MAX, is because I have the flexibility, but I've got the support for whatever, packet or any type of basis, or a phone call away. My LLC, they're all based in Denver, but they're a phone call away. And I do have boots on the ground here. I have someone who pretty much oversees Mass, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, and lives in Connecticut. She's a couple minutes away, not too far at the end of the day. Everything's an hour. Everything's an hour. So it is nice to have that really true customer service and boots on the ground, for sure.
It is, and it's one of the things that I love about RE/MAX. In fact, I have good friends of mine who work for RE/MAX and have for a number of years in many different states. One of the things I like about your particular growth in this past year is the network across the United States that you have created very tightly with a number of other RE/MAX agents, so that you can refer business back and forth to someone that you actually do know and have gotten to know and trust in other states, which makes it huge. If we're moving from here to California or to Texas or to Arizona, you need someone there who you can trust as well.
It's crazy because I usually fly American. She's like, I'm a Delta.
I'm sorry.
She's like, I'm a Delta girl. We went down to Atlanta together. It was great.
Yeah.
But I'll fly American. And so their main hubs in the East Coast area is, you've got Chicago, but then you also have Charlotte. And there was a flight coming back from California I did, and I was in Charlotte, and it was getting to be like 10:45. There was a little bit of a delay, got to be 11. Yes, I know, American. She's like, I can see it in her eyes. She's like,
I lived in Atlanta for 30 years, so Delta all the way.
But anyway, I called a friend up and I said, I'm in Charlotte. And she goes, do you want to stay for the night? Push your flight out to tomorrow morning? I go, is that okay? She goes, no problem. I'll come pick you up in 30 minutes. Yeah. And that's what I love about RE/MAX, is that I can probably go to any hub and have a friend. It's not just an agent, it's a friend. I had a client ask me the other day, hey, who do you know in this place in New York? I go, okay, well, where in New York? Give me the address. And I literally can give you someone that I know very well, I speak to on a regular basis. I might travel with them. I might see how they run their business on a very intimate level. So I know it's a good match, because as much as we're matchmakers with people and houses, we're a matchmaker for people and people.
Personality match is a huge thing, and it always will be. And I think that's one of the things that makes each of us great, is that there's plenty of real estate. Well, maybe not plenty of real estate anymore, but there's lots and lots of real estate. There are lots and lots of agents. There are lots and lots of people who need to buy and sell homes. And, same thing in construction. You need to find the people that you work well with. They're in any transaction, you can have a whole host of people who are qualified to do it. Yeah. But who do you want to work with? Who do you want to spend that time with? Is really important.
Of course. And if Heidi's like, hey, I need a plumber or I need something, right? Whatever it is, you also want to match those types of personalities, because if you're looking for whatever service provider, you're looking for an attorney, you're looking for a lender, you want to make sure that if the way Heidi wants to be communicated to, Heidi gets that communication. It's the same with your business too. Yeah. People are coming to you because they want that type of communication. They're paying for the type of communication, but they're also paying to go back to hospice. They're paying to go back to Children's Miracle Network, because we do the same with all of our sales. We donate to Children's Miracle Network, which is amazing for the hospitals and everything. So same thing is there. I want to make sure that referral is the way you want to be communicated. So the referral I had the other day, I have 2 people in that area. And I just know how the person who's asking for the referral, I go, all right, this person is this way. This person is this way. Person B is going to be a better communicator, and how that person wants to be communicated. It was so crazy the other day because I made the match based on their personalities. Yeah. Like, if someone's a very high D, if you've ever done the DISC assessment, it's like, no. Like that type of person is not going to mix with someone who's like, hey, just want to take my time. Whatever that personality is, you want to make sure it's good and harmonious, because that could be the make or break.
Yeah, that's their experience, right? And that's one of the things that I most appreciate about you and about the other people that I have become friends with personally and professionally, is that the people that I bring into my circle are all of those people who pay attention. You really have to pay attention to those personalities and communication styles. I will one day teach people how to communicate. I never have gotten so irritated as just, I emailed someone who's a terrible communicator to begin with. And I said, hey, I was wondering if we could move our meeting from this Friday to the following Friday, or to another time that works for you. I'm not available next Friday.
Oh, that is my pet peeve. That is my pet peeve.
Okay, what are some of the other options that you have? Right? I'm not available next Friday, but yes, I have this time and this time available for you. Would either of those work?
You struck a chord with me. You struck a chord.
We can get so much more done if we keep an open dialogue rather than one person shutting it down. And you're going, okay, I guess I'll find a new accountant.
So I'm going to just transition into this because I just listed a property on Monday, and no, actually, yes, we listed it last week. We went under contract Monday. So last week we listed it, and I'm starting to get calls thinking I was going to have open houses this weekend. I was kind of playing it by ear because I knew what the house was. I know the price point. I know the location. I had a feeling that we were going to start getting showings. So I wasn't committing immediately to an open house because I had a feeling we were just going to, kind of field what we were getting. Yeah. So I got a lot of inquiries. Some of them I would say, all right, I'm here from 12 to 4, and I would fit them in a time bracket. I want to make sure it's not an open house. I don't really love that. I want to make sure it's, you have 12, you have 12:15. People are not bumping shoulders into people. Right. I hate that. I've gone through that as an agent. And I'm like, this could not be enjoyable as a buyer. You're more concerned about bumping into people than looking at the house. Right. So I had a lot of agents actually say, well, what about Friday at 2? I said, well, I've got this time to this time. Not sure if we're going to be under contract by then. They said, okay, well, that doesn't work. And I said, okay, but do you have another time? But I had to pick up the phone and say, here's the situation. Are they interested? Because I'll work with you on this. Right. It's just a matter of people shutting it down. And I'm like, no, you're doing a disservice to your client. Right. If Tuesday at 2:00 doesn't work, there's a lot of people who do shut it down. But there's also a lot of people who would need to pick up the phone and say, all right, here's the situation. Here's what I can work with you. What works for you? What works for my people? How can we actually get you in the door? And if not, and if they're not looking to rush, then that's fine.
Right.
But let's pick up the phone before you say, nope, that one specific time doesn't work and I'm not available.
The end.
I've had people say, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. I go, great. Does it work for your client? Send them, make sure they're going in the door. Like, that's the goal. Get them in the door.
Right.
I don't care if you're available or not. There's a short window. Let's get them in the door.
Do they want to see it? Because I won't be representing them in it, but I can certainly show them the property.
Yeah. I can be a door opener for that regard, just to make sure, because they're going to have you for everything else. But yes, I've actually gone through that because that happened recently where I experienced it more, that a lot of people were just like, Tuesday at 2 doesn't work for me. And I'm like, okay, but what's the next time available?
You know what you need? You need online booking.
I know.
And credit card services so that your really wealthy clients can just swipe their black Amex and get all those airline points.
Not even the black Amex. What's the metal Discover? Oh my God, the metal one.
Oh, I have a metal Amex actually. Mm-hmm. And one of the thing for flows, what ended up happening is somebody handed them the metal card and they shoved the metal card into the machine like you would for a chip reader. And it bent the internal mechanics of the machine. Lesson learned. So off runs Billy and dashes in there with a new machine, gets it all reprogrammed for him, gets him back up and running. And now we know that with a metal card, we either have to type it in or tap it or swipe it, but not chip you can't shove it into the chip part of the machine. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so funny.
Yeah. The simplest of things, right? What broke you down? Oh, metal card.
Usually metal does. Metal, it's like rock, paper, scissors. Metal beats plastic any day. Yeah, no, that's so funny. I mean, you learn these little nuances as you experience it and with time, for sure. Yeah. So
I am learning a whole lot. The proverbial fire hose approach for these past couple of months, and it's exciting. Yeah. I haven't really been excited about something in a long time, and the opportunity to help people better their businesses, give them great service, donate to hospice, learn new things for me, get to know, Rhode Island in a way I never have before, and all the people that I'm meeting. Yeah. I am connecting more people in other industries than I'm getting business for myself, but I like that too. Yeah. That, you and
me both, we're connectors. That's what so I just went to a conference and they pretty much said that you don't always have to be the source. Right? I don't have to be the roofer. I don't have to be the electrician because I'm not the attorney. I'm not the mover. You just have to be the source of the source. Mm-hmm. And that resonated with me because that's what people are looking for. They don't want you to be the roofer. They don't want you to be the electrician. They don't want you to be the attorney. They want you to be the source of the source. Mm-hmm. They want you to make the whole process easy. So I'm closing a property tomorrow and my seller pretty much was like, hey, I don't have a mover. I said, consider it done. Don't worry. Went to the property last night at 9 p.m. in Providence, had the movers, met the movers, made sure everything was good. Everything was super seamless. That's all they wanted, is they didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to coordinate. They didn't want to go back to the apartment. They just wanted it dealt with.
I need the name of that mover. That's a really hard industry to find somebody who's got really good integrity.
And you just become the source of the source, right? Mm-hmm. So there are certain things that I was like, all right, how can I help? What capacity are they, looking to move certain items? Are they looking to junk certain items? Are they looking to put stuff in storage? What does that look like? I just have to be the source of the source. I don't have to own the truck, and I don't have to have the muscles. I just have to know the person with the truck and the muscles.
And you and I have done that for one another over the years, been the source of the source.
Now I'm like,
oh yeah, hey, hello. And that's what I appreciate. Actually, you were just recently the source of a fencing company for me. And I have been the source of a landscape company for you. So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's nice that we can do that for one another and for our clients and for our friends. It's the great part about being a master networker.
Love it. Well, that I think is a good transition into wrapping up our coastal conversations. All right. Well, thank you so much, Heidi, for joining us today. And we'll have your contact information below so people can get in touch with you. And I look forward to seeing you all again on our next Coastal Conversations here in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island.